So I've already explained to you the beginning of this technique, the 6 techniques. So if you haven't, click the link below the video. You see YouTube channel of the first video. So this technique is called breaking it down. And my name is Coach Enoch again. Thank you for watching this video. One of the reasons why we procrastinate to see the project is too big for us to handle up to the point in which it overwhelms us, and the pain of tackling this project overwhelms us. For example, you've been wanting to join the gym and take control of your health and exercising. The reason you are procrastinating on this is because it seems to be overwhelming. Like, one, you have to think about how to fit in time, how to go to the gym, then your busy schedule, then you have to find an exercise routine that fits you, and you have to figure out to change your diet, your nutrition, and whether or not you need to buy new clothes to wear to go to the gym. No wonder you're procrastinating. I mean, I would be too. It's just too overwhelming and too much to think about. So how do you tackle such big problems? Well, the solution to this challenge is to break it down into smaller pieces. So you break down a large project or task into smaller parts. Breaking it down is one of the simplest techniques that you can apply right now. So it lets you visualize the process in advance. Here's a simple 3-step process. 1. Think about what you want. 2. Divide the outcome into 6 steps. And 3. Make sure the first step is actionable and takes no more than 5 minutes for it to do. So let's take the gym example. For example, you want to join the gym but you are procrastinating because you feel intimidated and are not quite sure where to start. So let's break it down. 1. Think about what you want. What exactly is it that you want? You have to be very specific here. So in this example, you want to join the gym and exercise. So 2. Divide the outcome into 3 to 6 steps. So the reason why we limit the range here is because we don't want to overwhelm ourselves with all the things that we need to do. So in this example, we can break it down into 3 simple steps. 1. Find a gym. 2. Go to the gym and sign up. And then 3. Pencil in your schedule to go to the gym every Monday and Wednesday before you go to work. First steps takes no more than 5 minutes to complete. Once you make your list of steps, you always want to make sure that the first step is actionable and takes no more than 5 minutes to do. You want to make it easy for yourself to get started. That's why we encourage you to make the first step as easy as possible. So in this example, it can be to find a gym or giving them a call about pricing. Really simple, it takes no more than 5 minutes to do. What makes this whole thing work is that you take a big scary unknown and you make it a progression you can easily see. I know it sounds too simple, but it's incredibly powerful when you use it. Now let me give you a couple challenges that you run into when you try to do this. First, you might think that you need to know all the steps that step by step into. Truth is, you don't. Your mind and the journey will fail you in once you start. The point is to make these steps easy to outline when you start. A big part of the battle with procrastination is just getting started. Breaking it down will help you with that. So sometimes your first step isn't actionable. For example, your first step may say email outline. So you want to make sure that your steps start with something simple that will make it actionable. So we are used to writing down outcome, but you want to make it an action to start not to make it an habit to start every step with a verb. It's called, for example, write, email, do, call. So instead of writing email outline, you change it to call John. So here's a simple litmus test. So imagine you give that stuff to someone else. Will that person be able to do it without any further information? If they can't, you have to rewrite first step. Your first step takes more than 5 minutes to do. If that is the case, break it down. Break down your first step until it does take less than 5 minutes to do. So that's breaking it down. Try to apply this right now and see if this applies for you. I know it will. So one of the lesser known but really powerful techniques is the power of visualization. So that will be number 2. So we've come out with a technique that we call Envision. It uses the power of visualization to overcome procrastination. So that's an example of how it works. So I may have a task for writing a blog post from my website trainingcoach.com. So before writing, I'll create an envision exercise. I'll close my eyes. I can see myself focused, energized, writing this post in my head. So as the paragraphs are forming, I can feel how excited I am to share this knowledge with all the readers I have. So when I publish it, I know I'm done and I can call it a day. Then I'll open my eyes and I'll start the actual writing process. By just simulating in my head what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, it makes it very easy for me to get started. So once you can picture it, you can do it. So here are the steps for implementing. 1. Sit down at your desk. Know what you'll be working on. The step is really important. 3. Before you start your task, close your eyes. Now visualize how you will complete this task. It should take no more than a minute or so. Open your eyes and get to work. The basic idea is imagine playing a film about how you see yourself completing the task, and also imagine yourself in an ideal scenario and what it looks like when you're done. So basically that's all that there is to the Envision film exercise. If you run with it, you can apply it right now. But if you want to know more about the techniques, I will get into that. So these concepts and idea for the sport world, where you see most of the elite athletes start small and become one of the best athletes in their sport. This mental training program is crucial because once you get to any level in sport, everyone is pretty equal physically. So to be better than the other players, you have to become mentally strong so that you can be able to make loose and stress, noise, everything not distract you, understand? So let's take example basketball, because I'm a huge basketball fan and I love to watch players perform. So when there's only 24 seconds left, the last basket may win the game. You can see some people shy away from the pressure while others want the ball and make the game winning shot. And those ones are the ones who have the edge because mentally they can handle the pressure. Even though the players may all be physically equal, it's the mental aspect of wanting the ball, handling the pressure, taking the risks that's what separates the elites from the rest. Studies have shown that athletes that participate in mental preparation, rehearsal, and skill training tend to achieve more. We have found that you can apply the same technique for overcoming procrastination. When you can simulate in your head what you're going to do, how you're going to complete it, you'll be more likely to do it and less likely to procrastinate. I can't say enough how powerful this technique is. It's so simple and worthwhile to make it really happen. So before you start your next task, try to envision it and apply the vision film technique. So now I'm going to show you one of my personal technique in overcoming procrastination. This is my go-to method whenever I want to beat procrastination. It's called the solo flare. It's a technique that I learned from one of my mentors, and the idea is really simple. And the idea is very simple. Start off with something very small and easy to do, and use the momentum to get more work done. So why is it called solar flaring? A solar flare is a sudden burst of explosion of energy on the surface of the sun. They start off really small, and as the pressure starts cooking, it eventually becomes impossible to stop, and they turn into like a massive explosion. So with the same idea in mind, you can apply this to procrastination. You start off with something small, and as you build that momentum, it becomes impossible to stop you, and before you know it, you go from doing very little to getting a lot done. This concept is so simple and very effective. You are essentially tricking yourself into doing things, and you can apply this into any type of work. All you have to do is say to yourself that you do something for only a couple of minutes. That's how the process works. Whenever you're procrastinating, tell yourself, I'm just going to work on this for 5 minutes. After that, then stop. It's that simple. Now, why does this work? You are giving yourself a way out. Everyone has 5 minutes of time. When you give yourself permission to stop after just 5 minutes, what usually ends up doing is you don't want to stop after that 5 minutes. The hardest part is to get started. Once you do, you find out that you don't want to stop anymore. That's why solar flaring is so powerful. Give yourself permission to stop. If it don't last even 5 minutes, that's okay. But 99% of the time, you will just keep going. You just have to repeat the initial resistance that you have, and this little mind trick is perfect for that. It's not complicated to trick yourself into doing this small tasks. A simple way to do this is by positive self-talk using the word just. The application of the word just means that you will not do anything more than what you have told yourself. You will do only that which is necessary. So here are a couple of examples where you can use this solar flare. So let's say you are procrastinating on cleaning your desk. You can solar flare this by saying that I'm just going to clear all paper away for 5 minutes. Once you start clearing the papers, don't be surprised that you will keep going till all the desk is clean. Another example is when you are procrastinating on writing a difficult email. You can solar flare by saying to yourself that you're just going to write a simple draft and compose a subject line. Once you start drafting that email, I bet you that you will end up sending that email. The hardest part of getting things done is to overcome that initial resistance. Once you get past that, the rest is easy. So next time you feel like procrastinating, remember to use the solar flare technique. Just get started. So I'm about to show you how a timer can help you overcome procrastination. This is one of my very first technique I learned that really worked for me, and it's called time boxing. So here's a 5-step process. 1. You set the timer for 25 minutes. 2. You only work on one thing during the duration. You absolutely do nothing else but that one thing. 3. After the timer rings, you must take a 5-minute break, no exception. 4. You just reset the timer and repeat this process. 5. For every 4 cycles, you take a 3-minute break. This works especially well if you like having external accountability to push yourself. Some people work better when someone else, or in this case a timer, pushes them to get things done. So if you are someone who needs external accountability, you will find that time boxing works just as well. The reason this works really well is that it forces you to do really one thing and just for 25 minutes. 25 minutes is not that long, and the timer forces you to do just that one thing for that duration. After that, if you don't feel like doing anything else, you can stop. But in reality, what we have found that doing this time boxing makes you realize that you are making progress. you start to think, hey, I did all of that in just 25 minutes, I should keep going for another 25. So here's an example of how I use it. I tend to use time boxing a lot whenever I'm procrastinating on writing articles. For some reason, I get the most initial resistance when I get to writing articles. So I'll set a timer for 25 minutes and just force myself to write bullet points and general ideas. So as the timer is ticking, tapping away, I start to feel really good about myself. I see words in the sentences applying the screen. The ideas start to flow, and when the timer hits, I usually just want to continue to write. To make this work, I've learned that you really need. So sometimes I walk away from my desk, take a bit of water, and then continue. So first, you need a timer. You can use a timer on your computer, on your phone, or a stopwatch. Doesn't really matter which you pick. Pick the one that you are most comfortable with. So personally, I prefer a timer on my computer. There are tons of options available, and if you look below, I'm going to include some timer that you can find our recommendation for physical timers and software-based timers. Next time you feel like procrastinating, use time boxing to overcome the initial resistance. Set the timer for 25 minutes, do just one thing, and take a break for 5 minutes. That's all there is to it. As you go through all of the procrastination videos, there's one thing that you will see over and over again. It's overcoming the initial friction or resistance that is preventing you from getting started. I love all of the other techniques show you mental traits and practical approaches to overcome procrastination. The technique I'm about to show you is about how to set up your environments like your office or your bedroom to be conducive. We call it clearing to neutral. So I'll share a quick story about how I found out about this technique. You probably don't know this, but I hate washing dishes. Whenever I finish breakfast, I'll just dump the dishes in the sink and forget about it. And here's the problem. If I want to make lunch, I will have to clean my dishes first before I can do anything else. So I'll have to do all of these little things first before I can get lunch. After a couple times, that really takes me off, and using the 3 times rule that I will discuss, I came up with a solution. It came up with a solution. If I just clean the pot and pan right after my meal, I don't have to worry about cleaning them for my next meal. So from that point on, I will always wash my dishes right after each meal and prepare them to be ready for use next time. So I will make sure that they were dry and put in the right place, and I will think about how I will arrange it for the next meal so it will be easier for my future self to prepare a meal. This is what have led me to what I call clearing to neutral. At the end of tasks or day, you clear everything and prepare your environment for next time. And you can apply this idea to anything. For example, whenever you are done writing in your computer, you can close your application window so you only see your desktop. Have you ever had lunch and when you came back to your computer, you finish your article, you have your 15 browser tabs open, you have your to-do list and a couple of words and email notifications on your to-do list? How do you expect to get this without all these notifications and windows distracting you? So the concept of clearing to neutral can be applied to anything you do. Just remember to clear everything and set it up for next time. I know this sounds too simple. Maybe it is too simple, but this extra 1 or 2 minutes of clearing to neutral will make a huge difference to your productivity. So let's talk about leverage. Leverage is a really simple technique for dealing with procrastination. There are 2 types of leverage, internal and external. External leverage refers to all the techniques that we have described in this module to help you combat procrastination, and those are extremely effective if you need them. But what we're going to be talking about in this video is internal leverage. This is what is really important in the long term, as it is the basis of forming habit of beating procrastination every time you experience it. Internal leverage refers to a concept called the pain pleasure principle. What it means is that you separate a lot of pain and associate it with the consequences of not completing something. As an example, say you have procrastination on making a difficult phone call. What you want to do is think about what will happen if you didn't make this phone call and associate pain with that. So think about people nagging you for not doing it. Think about how your wife will get worse if you don't pick up the phone now and make that phone call. And on the other side, which is the pleasure you get from making this phone call. Just imagine a course being made and think about how you are going to reward yourself. Are you going to take a break, or are you going to get something to eat? Think about the sense of accomplishment that you feel and how much better your life will get after you make that phone call. Think about the responsibility and sense of gratefulness you feel after making that phone call. What you want to do is go back and forth between these two. Think about the negative consequences of not doing and the positive consequences of doing it. The trick to making this technique even more effective is to really step into the pain and pleasure you're feeling and feel them in your body. So as you think about the negative consequences of not doing something, really experience them in your mind and body. Feel the sense of anxiety rising, feel this muscle rising in the muscle. Think about the disappointment of people nagging you, and think about the pain and disappointment of not feeling through. And be sure to do the same with the positive consequences too. So you wanna visualize the happy smiles if you follow through, and hear people congratulating you on what you have accomplished. So obviously in this short video I'm telling you to use consciously in your head, but over time, the more you do this, the more your brain gets used to doing it automatically. And what you find is that when it comes to procrastination, your brain will just kick in and be like, oh, negative consequences associate lots and lots of things, and positive consequences associate lots and lots of pleasure. So thank you for watching this video, and all I want you to do now is to like, subscribe, and also leave a comment. I'll put the links below to some of the timers that I promised. So thanks.